Micron stockholders, you only have 24 hours left. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Tomorrow might be the most important day in the stock market in a very long time. Micron, that has been the pillar of the stock market recently, going up over 700% in the last 20 in the last 12 months, driven by the whole AI infrastructure demand, could be right on the verge of big run up or massive collapse. We're going to talk about the possibilities for Micron stock that could come out from earnings, why even good earnings might not be enough for Micron stock tomorrow. 24 hours left. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button and let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So right now, as I'm making this video, it's a little bit early, but overnight trading is not looking good for the stock market. We have the Asian markets that are selling off significantly, with the South Korean market that is basically 50%. Samsung and SK has fallen over 8%. They had a circuit breaker, and overnight trading is not doing great either. Just taking a look right now. The fact is that yesterday Micron popped. Right now in overnight trading, it's down 6.5%. Yesterday, it did go to new all-time high at 1,211, up 6.8%. So basically, right now in overnight trading, we're back to 1,130, back to that zone, which is still good, right? But as you can see, Micron stock has gone up significantly yesterday, creating new all-time highs. We've talked about how Micron stock could be in a weird situation where it is in unknown territory. So when you have a stock that is going up and up and up and is creating every single day or every single 4 or 5 trading days a new high, you don't have the same resistance areas that you would with a stock that, for example, here, right, we had this resistance area, it tried again, it tried a third time, and then it broke out. Okay, right now we don't have something similar like that. Even if you pull Fibonacci levels, you could find support zones, but you don't have resistance levels above that. And for now, it seems that the psychological levels, the 1,000, this level here at 985 would be support levels for Micron stock. But again, a lot is going to be affected what is happening with the general stock market. So if the general stock market right now is selling off similar to the Asian markets, if the US stock market opens up today and we see a big sell-off, Micron could join the party. Again, something that has gone up significantly over the past few months. Some bad news or taking a little bit of risk off the table. Yesterday, there was an article or a statement from Bank of America stating that they think that the Fed is going to actually raise interest rates 3 times this year towards the end of the year. And so that has freaked out a little bit the markets. We also didn't see any fallout from Japan raising interest rates last week. Towards the end of the week, the yen is a little bit collapsing. The Japanese government flooded the market in order to save the yen versus the dollar about 2 years ago, and now we're back to that same level. Last time we had the Japan carry trade that the stock market sold off when that happened. So that could be one of the reasons why the markets is selling off right now. So you need to be very careful over the last 24 hours. In general, tomorrow we have the Micron earnings, which we'll get to in just a second, because Micron earnings are going to be very important. Micron is already a $1.3 trillion stock. It's one of the top stocks. It's a stock that many retail investors have invested in. So if it sells off, it could be a big hit for many retail investors and retail traders. You can see futures are down 1.17% right now. We'll see how that plays out over the next coming hours into the trading day. Something that also could be hurting retail is that SpaceX continues its pullback, something that I predicted here. If you've been watching the channel for the past few weeks, I predicted that we'd see the first few days coming up and then sell off. Basically, we're back to the levels we were on the first day. We'll see how today plays out for SpaceX. So that could affect things as well. Let's talk about now the reports. So I want to go to the other side. 1 second. Here we go. So Micron reports its quarter 3 earnings tomorrow, Wednesday, June 24th, after the closing bell. This report is arguably one of the most critical tech events of the summer. Micron has recently crossed a 1 trillion market cap, with stock skyrocketing over 700% in the last 12 months, driven by insatiable artificial intelligence infrastructure demand. Consensus expectations are staggering. Analysts projecting an EPS of roughly 20.20 on revenue of over 33.5 billion, which translates to nearly 1,000% year-over-year profit growth. Because the stock has been priced for absolute perfection, option markets are pricing in a massive 12% expected move following the announcement. So it could be good or bad. Here's an analysis of what to look for and structural scenarios that could play out. 3 key metrics to watch: the high bandwidth memory, HBM guidance, and supply contracts. HBM is a specialized ultra-fast DRAM that sits directly next to the AI processors like Nvidia's Blackwell GPUs. Micron has previously stated that its entire 2026 HBM production capacity is completely sold out. What to watch for? Whoops, not that. What to watch for? Look for commentary on long-term supply agreements, LTSAs extending into 2027, and whether they are securing fixed premium pricing. 2, gross margin expansions. Because memory supply is initially increasing incredibly tight, Micron has enormous pricing power. So basically, they can raise the prices because the AI companies need their product. Their non-GAAP gross margins hit an incredible 75% last quarter, and management guided toward roughly 81% for quarter 3. What to watch for? If gross margins cross above 82 to 83%, it proves that AI memory boom is flowing straight to pure profit. Any contraction below 80% will trigger immediate alarm bells. Capital expenditures, CapEx, and future oversupply. The biggest long-term risk for Micron, is its own industry history. The classic boom and bust cycle. Right now, Micron, SK, and Samsung are all spending billions to build out new HBM factories. So you saw, I just told you, Samsung and SK just dropped down significantly, about also 5-6% in Korea. So that could be a risk here. What to watch? Play close attention to management's full 2026 and 2027 CapEx guidance. It's very important in earnings to look at what's going to happen in the future. Yes, it's important to look at the numbers for this quarter, but many times how the stock reacts, especially a stock that has gone up significantly over the last 6 months, will be what management is looking for going forward, because that's where the stock is going to go forward, right? Wall Street wants them to spend enough to meet demand, but not so much that they trigger an industry oversupply in 2028. Now let's talk about the earnings scenarios. Scenario A, the super cycle beat and raise bull case. So starting out with the good. The numbers: EPS beats handily, example 22 plus. Fourth quarter revenue and gross margin guidance exceed Wall Street's high estimates. And management signals HBM supply is already being locked down for 2027. The narrative: the market accepts the idea that AI has permanently broken the historic memory cycle, turning Micron from a cyclical commodity business into a high multiple structural AI powerhouse. Stock reaction: the stock breaks out new all-time highs again, likely tracking toward upper band of the options implied range 1270, dragging the entire semiconductor sector, SMH, Nvidia, up with it. So again, right now, we said that Micron finished at 1200. We're seeing it pull back now, overnight trading back to about 1100. So again, tomorrow we could see it bounce back to those levels and potentially even higher. Scenario B, the beat and bleed. The numbers: Micron reports solid beat on both top and bottom lines and matches or slightly edges out forward guidance. The narrative: institutional flow data shows a very heavy put-call ratio heading into the print, suggesting that large funds have been buying heavily the downside protection or using the pre-earnings rally to hedge. If the report doesn't contain an absolutely mind-blowing positive surprise, big players might take profits. Stock reaction, a volatile initial knee-jerk reaction followed by a modest sell-off or a flat consolidation sell the news as investors digest as spectacular but fully expected quarter. And the bear case, the guidance snag. The numbers. Micron hits the third quarter numbers, but issues quarter four guidance that misses consensus expectation by even a fraction, or notes slight production delays in ramping up next generation HBM lines. The narrative, the bears immediately seize on the peak cycle argument, fearing that explosive 1,000 profit growth phase has topped out and the massive capex spending will begin eating into free cash flow. Stock reaction, because the stock is priced flawlessly, a minor guide down would likely trigger a swift and severe correction, testing the lower boundary of the weekly expected option move, the 995 or lower. So this is going to be interesting to see those three scenarios. It didn't even talk about them missing earnings because the expectation was in the previous quarter was so good that the market is not expecting really that they will miss earnings. But the thing now is, what will they be talking about going forward? Okay. And so that's going to be critical here for Micron, and it will be very interesting to see. Now, like any earnings, it's a 50-50 chance. There's three scenarios. So you could say 30-30-30, right? 33.33, that one of those scenarios plays out, but you don't really know. And that's why, especially on the option contracts, you'll see lots of volatility, or you can see the implied volatility is going to be very, very high going into earnings because the volatility takes a premium. Okay. And so we never know. Sometimes you could, after market, you see a sell-off and then the stock opens up the next day and you see it come back, or the opposite. So earnings is really a flip of a coin. But we'll once the data comes out, we'll be a little bit smarter. Now, you might look at this as an opportunity to buy the dip or to buy the earnings. Again, it's up to you how you want to attack the Micron earnings. I do own Micron. So again, this is an interesting scenario for me, and it will be very interesting to see what could potentially come out here for Micron. Let me know in the comment section, how much Micron do you own? You don't have to if you want. Some people don't like, even though YouTube is anonymous, basically. So let me know in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe for more Micron stock updates and smash that like button. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.